Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, and when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. All right, so first I need to fix that. There we go. Okay. So let's talk about filing business taxes. That is always a huge question, especially as it starts to get towards tax season, is how to file business taxes. So let's get started with the different types of business structures you will hear, and then we'll talk about how to pay your business taxes. All right. So the different types of business structures you'll hear the sole proprietor, you'll hear single member LLC, you'll hear partnership, you'll hear multi-member LLC, you'll hear S Corp, and you'll hear C Corp. Those are all of the different types of business structures you will hear. And so let me talk about how they're recognized. And then as we get through that, it will help give you more understanding and more clarity about business taxes. All right. So as far as the federal government is concerned, your LLC is considered a disregarded entity. And what that means is that it's simply not recognized. An LLC is a state-run entity. The states, they have their own laws governing LLCs in their states. So what that means is that if you have a single member LLC, as far as the IRS is concerned, they say, great, you're going to be taxed like a sole proprietorship. It's the same thing. If you have a multi-member LLC, they're going to say, great, you're going to be taxed just like a partnership. Same thing. Now, the reason that people love LLCs is because of the flexibility that it offers. And in that flexibility is that there's a flexibility in how you can be taxed. So if you've got that single member LLC, like I said, you can be taxed as a sole proprietor. If you have a multi-member LLC, you'll be taxed as a partnership. But you can make elections to elect to be taxed as an S Corp or elect to be taxed as a C Corp. Now, when you make those elections, though, you also have to follow the rules of those business structures. So you might have that multi-member LLC that you decide that you want to be taxed as an S Corp. So at that point, you stop filing a partnership return and then you start filing an S Corp return, and you have to follow the rules of the S Corp. Okay. The great thing about partnerships and S Corps is that the due dates are the same. But when you're going from a single member LLC to an S Corp, your due date changes, right? So that is all the different types of business structures. And C Corps are also based on, unless you have a fiscal year, it's based on a calendar year, January through December. Okay. And listen, fiscal years, y'all, listen, just stick to calendar years, make your whole entire life a whole lot simpler. Okay. Fiscal years are just a tragedy when it comes down to tax preparation. Okay. So now when it comes down to business taxes, the only structure that has business taxes is a C Corp. Do not confuse filings with paying, okay? So a partnership return, an S Corp return, those are information returns. Those entities, the partnership and the S Corp, do not pay federal taxes. It is an information return. It flows through, you'll hear the term a pass-through entity. That means that the profits and losses from the business pass through to your personal return. So the only business structure that is going to be filing and paying taxes is a C Corp. Everybody else, your taxes are going to be paid on your personal return. So your S Corp, your partnership, your single member LLC, your sole proprietor, all those taxes get paid on your personal return. I know people will say, well, I don't want my taxes tied to my social security number. Well, at some point, it's going to anyway, right? Now, even when you have a C corporation, if you are working in that business, you have to be on payroll. right? So you've got to write, you have to, pay yourself on a W-2, employment taxes, all of that stuff with a C Corp. And so if you have a dividend distribution, you're going to pay taxes on that too. So you're going to pay taxes on the profit at the business level for a C Corp, and then any dividends with whoever the members are that receive dividends. The shareholders, where there's one shareholder of 50, those taxes get paid on the personal return, okay? So you get a dividend distribution. Now, when it comes down to S Corps and partnerships, you get what's called a K1. The K1, where your profits and losses are distributed based on the amount of ownership that you have, that gets passed through to your personal return. So when you're talking about paying business taxes, the only time you're paying business taxes specifically is if you have a C Corp. Everybody else, it's on your personal return. So your 1040 will at some point get your profits and losses from your sole proprietorship, from your single member LLC, from your partnership, from your multi-member LLC, from your S Corp as well. Because even with the S Corp, you also have distributions, right? After you've paid all of your expenses, you, the owner, are an employee of your company. That is a requirement, is not a suggestion. Okay, so you have your W-2 that you issue yourself. You also have your, after you pay your expenses and everything, whatever profits you have are then distributed to you as well. So you're going to be paying the taxes on all of that on your personal return. So, don't get confused with filing versus paying taxes. Now, don't get confused with paying estimated taxes, because if you're a business owner and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to make money. When you make money, you got to pay taxes, right? When you have profit, you got to pay taxes. And so at some point you will have estimated tax payments. So those payments are, you just go to the IRS website, or you write them a check and mail it to them, however you want to do that. And it gets paid. You just go pay it. There's nothing to file when you're paying business taxes. You're not paying business taxes. You're just paying taxes. Okay. So that means you got to go to the IRS website. You put in your social security number, and then you let them know how much you're paying, and you pay it, or you send them a check and you make sure it gets credited to the right year. Okay. So that's what I'm saying, is that there's nothing to file. The only time you have something to file when you're paying business taxes is when you have payroll, right? That's when you're filing employment taxes. You have to pay employment tax, and then you have to file quarterly employment tax returns as well as annual employment tax returns. So if you're a single member LLC, if you are a sole proprietor, you are not an employee of your business. Even though you can have employees, you are not one of them. Okay? If you are an S Corp, then you must be an employee of your business. You must put yourself on payroll, to issue the W-2, that whole thing. Okay? So when it comes down to paying, you just go pay. That's it. There is nothing to file. Even if you have estimated tax payments, there is nothing to file. You just go pay. You might get vouchers when you file your taxes and you have estimated tax payments. Then you'll get a voucher that says you need to pay X amount on these particular dates. Okay, it'll tell you how much to pay. But again, it's not a filing. You just go pay. So just to be clear, the C Corporation is the only business structure that has business taxes. Okay. And if you have a C Corporation, when you have a tax liability of, I want to say it's $500 or more, then you have estimated tax payments for your corporation. Everybody else, S Corps, partnerships, multi-member LLCs, single member LLCs, and sole proprietors, you're paying on your personal return under your social security number. Even if your LLC or your sole proprietor has its own tax ID number, that's what it is. If you have a partnership and you've got a K1 that produces a tax bill, you go pay under your social security number. That's it. Okay. So, and I guess the thing that I want to caution you against is this. You hear people say, well, if you're not paying business taxes, you're not a legitimate business. That is a very, very bad misconception, because it is a lack of understanding of what business taxes really are that's coming out of the mouth of the person that's saying that. Please do not get wrapped up in the street talk, because that's going to land you in a whole bunch of trouble. Okay. So that's it, you guys. This is not difficult. It is your responsibility as a taxpayer to go pay your estimated tax payments. It is not your tax professional's responsibility to make sure that you paid them. It is your job as a taxpayer to pay your estimated taxes. If you don't know, then reach out to your tax professional. It is also not your tax professional's job to remind you to pay your estimated tax payments. They're due the same times every year. You got a smartphone? Put it in your calendar, okay? This is called being a responsible business owner and knowing and doing what you're supposed to do, okay? So, yep, you just go on irs.gov and pay the taxes, okay? It's you don't file anything unless you have employees. And like I said, sole proprietor, single member LLC, you are not an employee of your business. It is not. Please do not go with the street cred of saying, oh, I'm on payroll. Well, if you got a single member LLC and a sole proprietor, you're not even supposed to be on payroll. So don't let that false sense of, I don't know what you call it. Right? I don't even know what you call that. Just don't do it. If you've got questions about when and how, reach out to your tax professional to make sure that you're getting it right. But yeah, you just go pay. That's all there is, babe. All right. So I hope that helps you out. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, and you can come right here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right. Have a great day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.